Hi all you sweet study buddies, welcome to my channel. My name is May and today I'm super excited to share with you how to make your own disc notebook. The first thing you need is 12 discs and you can get them in black or you can get them in all fun colors. I picked the 28mm ones, but you can also pick smaller ones because these are pretty big. But you can go for 24mm or 18mm as well, doesn't really matter. The next thing you need is a mushroom hole puncher. I would definitely recommend this one. It's only around 10 euros and it has this nice ruler attached to it, which makes it easy for you to make the mushrooms on the paper. So here you can buy it at CC Gifts, but at other places on AliExpress as well. I'll place all the links and the information that you need in the description, so check that out. Next essential thing is that you have paper, so white paper. And the second thing is that you have a cover for your book, so something like this carton. I don't really like to use this carton, so I use a folder. And we cut off the middle part of the folder and use the outsides as covers for our notebook. And of course, the last thing you really need is a pair of scissors. So these are all the essential items that you need. And if you want to make your notebook a little bit extra pretty and neat, you can also add these items. So first, of course, you can also add colored paper. I like to print little dots on my papers. I do that on the white paper and on the colored paper, so I'll show you in a second. The next thing you can add as well are tab sheets. Oh boy, I love tab sheets in my notebooks. And of course, if you have a cutting tool like this one laying around, it's really useful because you have to cut off the 23 rings. And you can do it with a hand scissor, of course, but if you have a tool like this lying around, don't even try to do it with your hand, just use the tool, it's so much easier. So basically, you can use every paper that you have laying around the house, these 23 rings. I just cut off the holes of the rings and then you can use it in your notebook as well. Same thing for this one with the square paper. Yes, I'm just showing off all my college books apparently. Of course, you can use black paper. Oh, now for this thing, you have 4 holes in this paper. You don't have to cut those off because the mushroom stems get next to it pretty good. Like there's only one place it doesn't, but you'll see it later. And of course, you can also mushroom punch your white lines paper because we all love white lines, we know. So that's everything I'm going to be using in this video. The first thing that I would recommend you to do is to print the paper. Since you have to look up templates first on what you want to print, so I would recommend you look on Google for some templates. You can Google something like dotted paper or squared paper, anything that you want. While searching for papers on the internet, you should really check out if you can find a PDF file which has double-sided, so 2 papers on one PDF file, and you really want to check out if you want a watermark on it or not. And that's why I love inks and pens so much, because it doesn't have a watermark on the pages when you print it, which is awesome! The paper that I love the most from this website are the 5mm dots and the 8mm dots. So next thing I would recommend you is to just print out one paper, put it on double-sided paper and check out if you like how the template looks. If you like how it looks, then just go ahead and print out like 30 or 50 at the same time. Put in enough paper in your printer though. Oh, and about putting paper in your printer, that's very important to put it all straight in. And make sure to take your time to do this because you want the dots to be like straight on the paper and not a little bit crooked. So of course, this is not the only thing that you can print. You can of course print anything you want and put it in your notebook. So right now I will show you how the dots look when I print them out. You can barely see them, not even because of my camera quality being so bad, but they're really smooth and actually very invisible dots, which I really love. Okay, so the next thing you will do is of course cut the paper, but we have to look at the hole puncher first. We have this little cute black ruler attached to it, and I clicked it into the left side here, but I prefer to have it on the right side, which I'm going to click it in right now. This little black ruler is super useful because it has all these A4, A5, and also in inches it has templates on it. But you will see right now, because step 2 is coming, we're going to mushroom punch the paper. So if you're going to do this, I would recommend you to place a paper on the side of a table, a little bit over the side of the table, and to put a heavy object right on the paper, so the paper won't be moving that much if you slightly touch it. So now for the mushroom puncher, as you can see, all these little name tags of the papers are on it, and we're going to use the A4. So you see a little tiny stripe right there. That's the one that we're going to align the right side of the paper with. So let me zoom in for you so you can see what I'm talking about. There you see the little line that ends A4, and that's where we're going to align it with. So take your time to do this, because this is the most important step when you're hole punching the mushrooms in the paper. And there we go, we have our first mushroom. Yay! So the next step is you have this little stick putting out on the ruler. You just put it in the last mushroom you just punched, and then you punch the next one. It's really that easy. Now with the third one, you can already see that I'm putting it back in the last one I punched, but there's also a 5 centimeter mark which says that there should be another mushroom right there, and that is. So just align the paper to the ruler and just punch the next one. That's basically it. That's how you do it. So let me show you again. Here we do it again. Just put it in. Go. Put it in and align it with the 5 centimeter mark on the second mushroom and cut it. So I have another tip while cutting, where you cut with your right hand, keep it strong and release your left hand to move, and then if your left hand is in position, just release the mushroom puncher. So it's easier for you to move around the paper. I'm trying to do that here. I don't know if you can see that well enough. Okay, and there you go. After you did a whole stack of papers, I recommend you to directly clean out the mushroom puncher, because if there's too much paper or these little tiny mushrooms in them, it's really easy for the mushroom puncher to get stuck, like right here. So I was actually really happy that it got stuck. So now I got to show you what I do when the mushroom puncher gets stuck. So the first thing is I twist it over to the compartment where the mushrooms are, and we're going to clean away all the mushrooms from the stem with a pen, just with a pen or another tool that you want to use. So you see all these papers coming, and then you just press away the stem so it gets back in its normal position. And if you did that, you can continue mushroom punching. So on to step 3, which is an extra step. You don't have to do this, but I like to, is to cut and mushroom punch the tab sheets. So as you can see, I have 23 rings on the tab sheets, which we're going to cut off with the cutting tool. If you don't have a cutting tool like that, you can use a ruler, set a line on it and cut it with a scissor. But we have the cutting tool, so we're gonna use it. So how close you have to cut to the 23 rings is depending on the tab sheets that you own. I noticed that I don't really have to cut close to the 23 rings, because otherwise the tabs will stick out too much. So you have to just experiment with that with your own tab sheets and figure out what works the best for you. As you can see, when I use this tool, I remove the rings first, then I check out how many I removed, and then I place my hand underneath the tabs so I make sure they won't move that much, which I kind of failed in the end, as you can see, but it still works out because I still knew where to cut it. So that's it. So now the tab sheets are all straight and now they are ready to be mushroom punched. Because I have 10 tab sheets, I divide them in groups of 2, so 5 tab sheets each, and then I'm gonna mushroom punch these. These tab sheets are A4 size, so I'm using the A4 template on the black ruler again on the mushroom puncher. Next up, step 4, we're gonna cut and mushroom punch the cover pieces. So I take this folder and on the bendable lines, I cut it with a scissor. You need a good pair of scissors for this because this can be a little bit tough. So as you can see, I will be left with these ring bands, which I'm keeping because I can always use it for something else. And make sure to take your time with it and cut a straight line so you have a nice and neat cover piece. So as you also can see, the cover piece has a nice round edge, which we're going to use to our advantage. So we're not gonna hole punch around the round edge, but we're gonna do it at the sharp edge. So here we go. Okay, the cover piece is a little bit larger than A4 paper. So what I do is I use 8.5 inches at the start and then mushroom punch this. But as you can see, I made it was a little bit too long, so I'm cutting off the mushrooms right now. And this is what I would recommend for you to just try out for yourself what you think is good. Now, on to step 5, which is again an extra step. You have to cut and mushroom punch the other paper that you want to put in your folder. So for example, I'm taking this paper with 4 holes right now just to show you that it is possible to keep the 4 holes and mushroom punch it at the same time. See, it looks all good, but the third ring will be a little bit sad. As you can see, we cut through it, but it's still usable as a 4-holed ring band paper. Okay, well, now we arrived at the fun step, step 6. We're going to assemble all the pieces to create our final product. As you can see, I have these black rings. They have a nice logo on top of them, which I like to face me, so that's why I put the logo down. And I would recommend you get a stack of around 6 to 12 papers to start off with. And build up slowly. Don't try to put on too many pages at the same time in your notebook, because that can damage the edges around the mushroom on the paper. So just take your time with building in your notebook. And I also would recommend you to keep the stacks that you cut together and put them all in at the same time, because the mushrooms are perfectly aligned. So here I'm putting in the colored paper as well. You really can't see it, but there are tiny little dots on them. And for some reason my camera decided to just zoom in and blur a little bit, so I'm sorry for that. But you can see that it's easy to take out the papers and put them in a different position, because I kind of messed up with the blue paper. So now all the papers are in, so the next thing I'm going to do is add the top sheets in there. I really didn't know where to put them, but that's not a problem since you can rearrange everything in the notebook. So I'm just doing something right now. I would really recommend that you take your time while making this notebook. For me, it takes between half an hour and an hour to make one notebook, but then everything is hole punched very neatly and correctly, which makes it easy to turn the pages. So I would really recommend that you do the same thing. Just take your time, and after that you can enjoy a perfect notebook. So here's the last step. We're adding the cover pieces, and with these cover pieces attached to your notebook, you have a finished notebook. Yay! I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you have any other ideas how to improve this notebook, please also let me know. I really hope you enjoyed this, so feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more study related videos as well. I'm planning on doing more of these. And here you have a little overview of the notebook that I'm already using for class, with planners and handout sheets that I've created. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you will love working in this notebook. I had a lot of fun creating these notebooks myself, so I hope you will have fun with it too. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, and I hope I'll see you later. I would say, don't be a stranger, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day and take care. Bye bye!